What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Big crit. Okay. Um, this one's entitled Attacking Net Neutrality. Um, I spoke about parts of this before in other videos when I was talking about black male censorship, when I was talking about media versus social media, when I was talking about how wealth is being consolidated into the 1%'s hand, and you can see how it's working if you're paying attention. And this comes into the fact of net neutrality. You see, people, if you haven't been paying attention, when it comes to media, everything is a competition. Technology has brought a new wave of a lot of things. So let's just get into the media part, right? Various journalism, newspapers, news sites have been firing people and streamlining their businesses because people don't get their news online more than offline. And on top of that, when it comes to media, people share more information from where they're at to other groups of people via social media, because they may say use their Facebook, and you may have friends all over the United States and all over the globe. So everybody gets stories from everywhere to get a bigger picture of the news. So it's a problem with net neutrality. That's why they're trying to attack it, because you can't control a group's mindset when everybody is getting information from everywhere, and the stories are basically the same, or how they're playing out is basically the same. How they're being reported is basically the same. The propaganda is basically the same, and you're starting to see how people have been getting played nationwide, worldwide because of this. So what people are doing is they're attacking your ability to uh, get your own content, produce your own content, share your own content online. I don't think y'all ever noticed that, but it's trying to make the slowly but surely. There was a time, I remember in Facebook, there was a time where you share a video that says a bunch of shares. Now it's like it's all 1-to-1, 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 1-to-1. Why is that? Because they don't want to let you know that the impact you might have had by something you put out might have went viral. They don't want to let you know that at all. Like, if it goes viral, then they'll post it up by itself. But they won't let you know how many people you affected, and you can look at them and how many people that affected. You can't track yourself anymore like that. And then, so it's not necessarily censorship. It's just streamlining in your approach, and that's why people are starving for likes, because it ain't what it used to be. It used to just be they show you if they like your shit and they shared your shit, everybody knew, right? It ain't like that no more. The other thing about that is this. Also, because of social media and media, people have been called out on their BS, because people have used the same internet to research these facts and alternative facts, right? So now people have a voice to call bullshit. So now you just can't put out any negative opinion about somebody without getting a response. If not immediately, quickly enough to not let it die down and be like a back page story. So that creates another problem, because now you can't throw somebody under the bus without pushback. And people's memories aren't as short as people would like to think. And you're starting to see the rise of people being more outspoken and intellectual using social media, whether they're doing it in a positive or negative way. So now you have a problem, because the way this country thought it was being run, and how people thought they were being controlled, even the government itself is like, wait a minute, how this country ain't what we thought it was. These people ain't, responding to our propaganda the way we thought they did, because now we're looking at all this information that people are putting out, and they're so skeptical of our bullshit, and they know it's bullshit, and they have their own life stories, their own family stories, their own sideline stories that they can put out there about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So now what? We need to stop that shit, because I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So now you stuck with this problem. You know, um, as far as like with us black people, you know, one of the reasons I think they're trying to discourage us off of social media is, you see, we can point out white on white crime, white hypocrisy. We can point out everybody, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, Hispanic hypocrisy, Asians, you know, gays. So now everybody who tried to speak for the black community without a black person in the room is starting to see that ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit. Now you hearing black people speak up like, oh, no, you ain't gonna use me when I'm not in the room and act like we on the same team, and then stab me in the back while we face to face, and then call the police and play the victim. Nah, pimp, we gonna call these spades publicly. And now you're seeing everybody having these mental fucking breakdowns, conniptions, and bitch fits, because all of a sudden they were so accustomed to being able to live this double life and be snakes, that now that they're getting called out on it, they don't know what to do publicly, because it's just been ingrained in protocol. So the way to stop that is to, if you notice this, even on YouTube, and I've said this plenty of times, how often do you see black people trending? You know, how often do you see black people who might have 1,000 followers with 4 or 5 thousand views, and they got 1,000 followers? So that means they're not being recommended and shared like that. When we talk about subjects, and you notice when everybody's saying get the likes up, get the likes up, you know, you can see videos that have maybe 20 to 30% more likes than views. So you would think that those likes alone would spread it along, but then you see people with huge videos who have 7 to 10% of likes and views, and those videos are still being regurgitated, recommended, trending, and hot topics and all the other stuff. You can see that's attacking the net neutrality, because it's still a racial component that people don't want us to have a voice. That's why, got to give a big shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson for the Negro Manosphere. The SYSBM website. Even Jada Black got a website. Like, and brothers talk about this all the time, and as far as, we need to get our own media and control our own voices. And I think what we're doing is just basically laying the groundwork for the future. That's just my opinion. But it's because of the attack on net neutrality. Because the problem with, just like anything else in America, it's not going to be fair and equitable and equal, because it's always going to be set up in a way where, the rich use their resources to put a glass ceiling on everybody poorer than them, and a few people break through, but those are a few anomalies. It happens, but everybody else, they're gonna keep putting systems in place to keep everybody down. And that's the same thing racially, because racism to me was always not just a racial thing, but also an economic thing. So, the net neutrality. You don't want certain people to go to get to a certain level, because that certain level will start to open up people's eyes to other people in that group that they have probably never seen before, and it open up eyes, opinions, ideologies, and start to open up a dialogue between people that say, wait a minute, I never had a perspective like this, and this could be a racial thing, this could be a non-racial thing. It's just one of those things where you've never heard these perspectives, and that's why I say it's attacking net neutrality. There's an attack on net neutrality, because with new perspectives comes new ideas, new ideologies, new choices to make in life, new people to connect with, you know, new new opportunities, new breakdowns of situations that you thought were one way, now that you can see another. That's part, I think, the thing with social justice warriors, MGTOWs, and all that other stuff, and alt right and liberalism and everything. You notice that they all have this section where they can talk about their issues, and usually they all these issues bounce off of each other. Well, when you got people outside of the box start bouncing their ideas in, it throws the shit off, because um, now it points out how full of shit these people are in life, and it pokes holes in their arguments, and it makes them look less intelligent than you thought they were. And because of that, you don't want nobody poking holes in your life raft, you know. So you gotta get rid of them. You gotta marginalize them. You gotta oppress them. You gotta put them down. You have to do whatever it takes to make sure that their voice will not be heard. But the only problem with that is, in this net neutrality thing, is there are more voices than traps. So no matter how you slice it, when you got people are basically in the same wheelhouse, you're gonna start to see the views, voices, and opinions that were marginalized in America multiply exponentially, to the point that the neutrality bubble burst. The attack on net neutrality, and they're trying to bubble burst, because if you notice, people are kind of getting people are at a point where they can tell something just don't smell right, something just don't look right, something just don't taste right. you know, in the disingenuous nature of America, America's politics, America's media, America's business tactics, America's history, America's hypocrisy. You know, is basically shown so many times that it's too much to catch. You know, you got you got you basically have uh, stories that contradict themselves all the time now on the net. Black person gets into this situation, everybody goes this way. White person gets into the same situation, everybody goes this way. And you can see the hypocrisy in all of it. And see, then the country is like, wait, but I thought it was like this. No, no, no. But see, what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander, but the propaganda is for the proper goose. I'm talking like a pimp right now. Got that from Bobby Glanton. But this is my point at the end of the day. Ultimately, the attack on net neutrality is not going to work, and this is why you see some people basically stagnate at a point, because they can't grow, because you can only grow as high as your ability to acknowledge your negativity or your cons or your bullshit. And since most people are not taking responsibility for their bullshit, they stop at a certain level. And then and because they stop, you wind up that creates a window of opportunity for people who are the opposing yin to that yang to come up, and then truth is starting to outweigh bullshit. And this is not what America was built on. America was built on bullshit, not truth. So it's a hell of a fight. So I'm out.